Live to live to live night news. If you're a lot like me, then you might not like you. Welcome to another episode of Hours of Clarity. I got a good friend of mine on from Brentwood Recovery Home Program. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Brian Trudell.
And he's an alcoholic, just like the rest of us. How have you personally found the program to benefit your life? Let's say from where you came, maybe a bit about yourself, you know, what you went through and how you found recovery, maybe the blessings you have today, kind of a bit about your story.
Okay, as far as I know, I've always been in an alcoholic environment.
Right.
You know, far back as when I was a kid.
So is it because of like parents using, or is it just the
a lot of my parents used.
Yeah.
And I just always thought that was a good thing.
Or normal.
Or normal, yeah, exactly, normal.
Right.
You know, and as time progressed, you know, I got abused in different ways, and I started like drinking when I was 12.
Right.
And it progressed, you know.
So let's pause there. So like when because I went through some, you know, physical abuse as well as sexual abuse from like another person that wasn't in my family, but he obviously went through some stuff as a child himself to be able to do whatever like had happened. But I thought that all kids, you know, went through stuff like that. Like to me, that was the norm, like the spankings, the yelling, the arguments, right? Mm-hmm. So was that the same for you, or?
Yeah, I got molested when I was 9.
Okay.
I started getting beaten up by my mom's boyfriend at the time.
Right. From
like when I was 9 till I was 14.
Right. So that was the norm for you.
That was the norm. The arguments, you know, at a young age, hiding underneath the bed,
mm-hmm.
you know, because my dad would come home and slap my mom around.
Just in fear.
Constant fear.
Yeah.
So, and I was already like going to school, I was an outcast.
Yeah.
So I was always by myself, so I didn't really have anybody to turn except for this one individual who molested me.
Right.
And she was supposed to be like an older sister.
Right.
You know, friend of the family's. So I always thought that was okay.
Right.
You know, I was taught sex ed at an early age.
Right. Quick upbringing, eh?
Very quick. I had to grow up really fast.
We find you closed up during these, like, you know, we look back at a program now and they talk about being open and closed. They talk about these different topics throughout the weeks, but I didn't really realize, like myself, how I shelled up because I didn't want to tell people. I thought they'd think I was nuts or they wouldn't believe me, or there's 1,000 reasons that go through your head, right? Mm-hmm. So what was that like for you? You're like looking back at it now, could you see how you kind of clammed up and like...
Well, yeah, I couldn't talk to anybody.
Right.
Because it's like if I told anybody what was going on,
mm-hmm.
I always thought that I was going to get in trouble.
Right.
And I didn't even know how to talk to people. That was the thing. So I had a younger brother, but he ended up, you know, staying with my dad, and I felt that I had to protect my mom, and you know, so I was always closed up.
All those thoughts running through your head, eh?
Yeah, and then like eventually I met up with some other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in that crowd, and we got into trouble, and we did the drugs, and we smoked the cigarettes.
Starting at 12, drinking.
Yeah, like I used to work for a farmer. When I was 14, he gave me a Mickey of moonshine.
Just to work?
Just because I worked.
Crazy.
He paid me money.
Yeah, also.
But he gave me a thing of moonshine.
Yeah.
And I remember drinking that on my 14th birthday, and I think that's when the physical abuse ended.
Right.
Because I blacked out. And when I came to, I had a baseball bat in my hand, and the guy who was doing it was on the floor.
Right.
And his leg was like this.
How old were you then?
I was 14.
Wow, man.
14.
You have one of those moments where you just kind of realize, like, is this it for me? Like, what did I just do?
There was fear, but the cops, when they showed up, because they were called constantly.
Yeah.
I remember one cop saying, "Good job, kid."
Yeah, finally.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah, and then developing that sense of like, you know, well, when I first drank, I developed like the sense of like courage. I could be me again, or like this whole new pressure was lifted off, and this whole new world was exposed to me that I could like talk and I could socialize. And I wasn't scared of what people thought. So like that for me, it developed into something that slowly became a sickness, right? It slowly became my worst enemy. But like, how was that for you? Like, you finally like get exposed to a different world where you felt comfortable in your own skin, or?
Yeah, it was like a liquid courage. Exactly what it was, man. Like it got to a point so much that I couldn't function.
Yeah, without
you know, messed up. Like I went through Brentwood like twice.
Okay.
One in '03 because I had done so many different drugs.
Right.
And when I came in the first time, I could tell you right out, I wasn't serious about it.
Right.
I just did it to get people off my back.
Yeah. A lot of us, it's courts, jobs, a wife, kids, whatever you're losing at the time, right?
But then I ended up, I went back out. Obviously, it didn't take me long. And I think I don't think, I know what got me to relapse. Like I lost a baby girl.
Right.
And then a month before that, I lost my mom in a bad way. And she drank, and it caught up to her.
Right. How did she pass? Was it liver, kidneys?
No, she had cancer, but they took it out. And within 2 weeks later, her main arteries in her throat, they both burst. And she pretty much bled to death.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So I didn't grieve properly for that.
Right. Or turn to the people that could help you.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know how because I had cut all that out.
Right.
You know, I figured it wasn't worth my time.
Like you got what you needed kind of thing.
That was it.
Yeah.
And then a month later, my ex, she was 8 months pregnant.
Right.
And she was into the meth hard. And our baby overdosed, pretty much. So it's like there was that. And then that gave me a reason to say hell with it.
Isn't it weird? I was just talking to a guy in a one-on-one earlier today about how when somebody else is hurting that we care about or doing something negative to their body, like by using or inactive addiction, we automatically as addicts and alcoholics think like, well, I might as well just get high too. Or like we have these more impulses or more urges.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It is.
It's like because you're hurting yourself and I love you, I'm going to go bang my head too. It's like we just had a person pass on the female side, right?
Yes.
And like I knew her personally, you know what I mean? And a lot of people were affected by this because they did programs with her, or que sera, right? Like there's thousands and thousands of lives that have came and gone that, you know, touch our lives. But at a point of weakness, we use that as our own excuse to go and use.
Mm-hmm.
It's like where's the common sense in that?
There's times where it's like, you know, my cats, I was using everything under everything I possibly could to use.
Yeah.
You know, my buddy's cat would die.
Oh, it's
we gotta get jacked up. You know, it's just silly stuff like that, eh?
But buddy's birthday. We gotta fix the car.
Birthday. Yeah, we're gonna fix the car. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. It was always a reason, and then that's when my body started relying on it. I couldn't even go to a grocery store or a corner store without being messed up.
Right.
You know,
take the anxiety, the edge off.
Liquid courage.
Yeah.
You know, and then I always say this to the guys. I always say that there's a fine line of using when things are not going your way or things are going, you're on top of the world.
Celebrate or the world sucks.
That's it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and it's nuts.
I try to explain that to people too. Like it's a black and white decision, right? Like recovery isn't perfect, and I relapse doesn't have to be a part of recovery, but it definitely is there for people to learn lessons from, right? Mm-hmm. If you use tools later on to get back on the horse, right, and get back into the game. Because life is worth living. That's a main thing I've realized in recovery, that these experiences, these memories that are all jaded from using and all the things that I've done in my past, I don't have them. They're not clear. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know exactly what happened. I can't be certain. So how can I cherish and value those memories? Like me and my girlfriend were just talking the other day, and she's talking about different times I have no recollection of. And I'm going, wow, I was that messed up. Where she has a memory, I don't. Right? So how many do I have that she doesn't? Or let's say how many are just jaded. Right? Where today, being clear-minded, every day is a gift, and I know I have those memories as they were for me as the time ticked, right? So in the place in the moment, I'm grateful for that today, right? Mm-hmm. Based on the celebratory coffee and a cigarette. I need my morning cigarette. I need a cigarette after a meal. Like there's a drink for everything. There's a cigarette for everything. There's a joint for everything. There's a line for everything if we choose that lifestyle, right?
That's it.
You know, come up with all these justifications. Well, buddy's fixing his car next door. I didn't mean to get drunk, but you had 12, not one.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, so there's a celebratory for whatever reason, a justification, some sort of a reason without a meaning or a purpose in it, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's funny because I think about where I was before. You know, I was a guy when I was in my early 20s, you know, having the car, the house. I was the girl, you know, it's the functioning alcoholic like you see in these commercials.
Yeah.
You know?
Or TV shows are having to drink at the bar
Exactly.
casually.
But they don't show a realization of it,
Yeah.
where you're so into it. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. You just pissed yourself. Sorry for swearing.
No, it's okay.
And and you're hugging the porcelain god.
Yeah.
Let's have a murder. You know, it's like they don't
Yeah.
show that side of it.
Yeah.
They don't show.
You pissing blood or shitting out fire.
Yeah.
They don't show that part,
They
right?
don't show that.
Yeah.
So everybody thinks, oh yeah, I can have fun, I can have this, I can have that, but
Yeah.
they don't see the darker side of addiction. They don't see the people that are out there living on the street.
Or when they do, you just pass it by like it's an everyday thing.
Yeah, they look at them as like aliens or monsters.
Right. Meanwhile, there's somebody's daughter, somebody's son.
And that, like with this girl Sophia passed away,
Mm-hmm.
like I remember her clear as bell
Yeah, on program.
on program, and it sucked. It just goes to show like
How real.
how real it is.
Yeah.
People, like I've seen doctors, police officers, everybody.
Yeah.
And you think that these people are like got their crap together.
Meanwhile, they're coming to Brentwood.
Yeah, meanwhile, before they come into Brentwood, they're either hiding,
Yeah.
doing their thing,
Yeah.
or they're hurting their families, or they're doing this, but especially hurting themselves.
Well, because we don't realize the people that are around us are watching, and like we think we're only hurting ourselves, right? And it comes down to a point like, oh, I'm taking time away from my kids, I'm taking time away from my family, I'm making them worry and wonder, how can I be in one place with anxiety, fear, frustrations, depression, all this stuff, like as I'm bouncing around bar to bar, trap house to trap house, and I'm getting high and using. I have all these different fears and emotions and anxieties and all that stuff. Well, my dad has the same things at home, and he ain't doing what I'm doing because he's having them over me. My kids, they don't have a dad. They're probably having all sorts of different emotions and frustrations and depressions. And yeah, I'm the one who put them in that state of shock, right?
Yeah,
So learning that at Brentwood, that was a major eye opener for me. And like you were saying, doctor, lawyer, nurse, cop, it doesn't matter. NHL hockey player, Bob Probert came to Brentwood, right?
Yeah.
Like all these different types of people. But it's a million faces in one mask. It's just the disease is the same for everyone.
That's it. And it has addicts. We're blind to see that.
Yeah.
We're blind and we're in denial
Right.
because we don't see the pain that we're causing other people.
Right. So in 2003, you said you first came in the program, right?
Yes.
Where you first opened up to all that blindness, by like like Father Paul would say, the seeds planted, right? Within a week or 3-4 days, like the seed's been planted.
Yes.
You're no longer unaware, right?
Yeah.
So you first learned about that when you came in 03, just made a choice, right? Of not sticking with it or whatever.
That was it.
Right. How old were you?
I was 27.
27. Okay. How old are you now?
I'm 47.
Okay, so 20 years ago we're looking at.
And then I came in 2014,
Right.
and I was 37.
Yeah, and that was the final kick though, right?
That was the final kick.
Yeah.
I'm going on 11 years.
Hey, congratulations.
Friday.
See, I thought it was 9 coming into this. I'm telling my girlfriend on the phone, I'm like, I get to introduce a guy or interview a guy that's almost got 10 years sobriety. Like, I get excited about these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since then, you've already, did you graduate high school when you were younger?
No, I quit when I was a couple of credits short.
Okay.
But I ended up in my first year, because I took my first year to actually find out the kind of person I wanted to be, the
Excuse
blueprint,
me.
the print that I wanted to leave in this world.
Right.
So I dove right into it.
Right.
I was meetings and everything.
Yeah.
I ended up getting my grade 12.
Right. Did you do
Then-
the Brentwood Night School?
No,
Oh,
I
you-
did. I went to
Okay.
a school outside.
Okay.
And then from there, that opened up the door for me to go into college.
Okay.
And you're talking to a guy who had low self-esteem. I
Right.
always thought I was too dumb to even go to college. But here I am taking a bus
Right.
while it's pissing down rain, going to college.
Yeah.
And that took me a while because there was a couple of hiccups, with COVID that really
Right.
messed things up. But I completed it this July.
That's the culinary school, right?
That was my apprenticeship for
Right.
culinary.
Yeah, see, and there you go, right? You
Finally
look at,
kicked it.
10 years from 2014, and you got your grade 12, you got a good job now, and you're a cook, and you're living out something that you have passion for. So, like, really, when we look at the difference in the way you're living, you said you were 20 years old with a car, house, girl, this, that, and the other thing. That all got pissed away
Hmm.
because we choose one thing over having everything.
Yeah.
That one thing becomes way more important in our lives than even our own children, our own families, our own real connection with human beings. We decide somewhere down the line that connection's worth more in a substance. you know, and to me, it's a black and white choice now. I didn't realize any of this coming into the program. I didn't even know how mad I was, right? So a lot to work on, but you did it. You got 11 years now, and yeah, I want to talk about some of the struggles maybe that you had and hardships that you had went through, maybe with family, or a bit about your story from 14 and on.
Okay.
How you first landed in Brentwood.
Okay. Well, what had happened is I ended up having a family. I have a family.
Mm-hmm.
I have like 5 young kids.
Okay.
And well, do you want to talk about struggles?
All of it.
I'm going through a separation right now.
Okay.
You know, I had to move out because it's not that I use it. I'll be like straight honest with you. There has been times that I wanted to relapse.
Yeah.
It's been there.
Yeah.
And it's been close, but I've never went through it because I play the tape through.
Yep.
You know, there's time I've even had a plan where I was going to get like a 26 or sit in my basement and get hammered while everybody else was asleep.
Yeah. Probably could have got away with it too.
I don't think so, because my case I would have fell over and made a bunch of noise.
But I mean, like internally, we would have not gotten away with anything.
No.
Right.
So, yeah, I've had it where it's like, you know, good friends of mine passed away.
Yeah.
Going through like hard times. You know, I just wanted to like, is this worth it? I want to escape reality. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to work through it. I just want to like, just say F it and just put it off, or like just, you know what, forget it.
Yeah.
Willing to throw everything I've
Worked
accomplished and worked for away, just so I can have a drink.
Meanwhile, that's the coping mechanisms of an adolescent, immature young man, where we're quick to go back to that behavior. Like even up here, if you don't even act on it, they say it's like, you know, crippling just to have the thoughts recur over and over and over. So what'd you do to get out of it?
I talked to people.
I've
talked to you about my problems.
Yeah.
I have called my sponsor. Hell, I even brought it up to Melanie. You know, if you like.
And that's the wife.
The wife, yeah,
Okay.
girlfriend, and she's like, go to a meeting.
Yeah.
Or a sponsor. You know, but I always find that I always reach out to guys.
Yeah.
You know, I come in here on my day off.
And do the one-on-ones.
And do the one-on-ones and go to group and stuff like that, because it's medicine. I need it.
Yeah.
You know, it's some people don't understand. Well, why? Well, why do you have to go there?
It's not up to us to even understand. You put a smile on my face saying this, because some days I'm like, I don't want to go to fucking Brentwood. I don't want a meeting. Like, why do I have to do this? And then I get there, all the weight comes off. I feel better about myself. I have a good conversation, and I'm leaving going, why did I doubt it before I went there?
Yeah, it's crazy how that happens.
Yeah, because this thing will play tricks on you. Like, why is there this little voice that sounds like Brian in your head, right? And every time we like agree with it, and why do we have to agree with it if it's our own thought, right? And then we get out there and something negative happens. Meanwhile, the internal us doesn't have a voice. We just feel better after doing the right things.
Yeah, I can testify. It's like, it's hard when it's easy to get in your head.
Yeah.
But it's hard as hell to get out of it.
Yeah.
You know, and I justified, you know, with work, because I was doing 2 jobs, trying to finish my college.
Yeah.
So I get home late and then try to be a dad
when
I could. I try to justify it. Well, I don't have enough time to get to meetings, or I was there all day, or I'm tired, you know, I had a bad day, and those are the best times to go.
That's right.
But if you don't act on it, the next thing you know,
you're swamped with all those little pits of guilt.
Yeah, and then you end up being in a position like I am.
Yeah.
Living in a dry house, trying to fix things and work on things. You know, I'm not saying being in a dry house is bad.
No,
I love the guys there.
It worked wonders for me. At the same time, I'm still living in a recovery house, right? I'm still living at Launchpad right now, but I need to be around people in recovery, or else I kind of feel empty. It's weird.
That's it.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up for me. Like, I don't think that I'll ever be the same. Like, if I practiced playing hockey for 20 years, I'd be Connor McDavid.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but I practiced drinking, fighting, arguing, smoking. Like, I practiced the wrong things for 20 years. So I'm pretty good at being wrong. You know?
Yeah.
I found that was like one of those major slaps in the face throughout my program. And the topic this week, well, it's going to be changing tomorrow, but it's change right now.
I love that topic.
I know. Because, like, look how much, okay, they say there's 2 things you got to do in recovery. You got to change everything, and you have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if I want to be sober, I got to change everything, and I got to do anything. There's only 2 things.
Yeah, but for us, it's thousands.
Exactly.
It's like I talk to, like, I say in meetings, it's like I love this topic. I can go everywhere with it because it makes me really reflect on things.
Yeah.
You know, before I got into recovery, it was like I was in a tornado. You know, a constant routine of getting up, trying to find a way of getting messed up, either passing out or whatever.
Yeah,
like I used to go through seizures, man, because I would drink so much.
Yeah.
Half of the scars on me are from like taking one and falling, bouncing off a dresser or something like that. But the crazy thing about this is that instead of going to the hospital, I just put a Band-Aid over it because I didn't want to go to the hospital because I knew I'd get ragged out.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, you're drinking too much, you need to stop, or whatever.
You hear the things you didn't want to hear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to be able to get out of that routine and literally change your entire life, it's huge.
Yeah.
Like, there's people that are ashamed of saying that they're in recovery. I think it's awesome.
I know. Wouldn't you be ashamed of saying, like, I'm not in recovery, I chose a different life, and I'm messing my life up? Like, I'm ashamed of those parts of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad and blessed to say that I'm a part of Brentwood. Like, for instance, even this interview that we get to do for YouTube watchers or people that get to watch this podcast, like, to me, hopefully it sends a message to somebody. You know what I mean? That it reaches someone. I don't have that unless I came to Brentwood. I never even had this idea come to fruition unless it was for guys like you and all the other supports out there. Right? So, yeah, it's something you shouldn't be ashamed of, honestly.
No, but there's people that are.
Yeah,
I'm like, why? You literally, like, a lot of people will look at you and be like, you went from that to this?
Congratulations.
To change?
Yeah.
Like, congratulations. I tip my hat off to you.
Yeah. Well, the 3 jobs I have since I've been in program in Windsor and I made this a home are all because I knew people in recovery. So, like, I wouldn't even really have that employment status anywhere I went unless it was for help from people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to be honest, like, there is work out there, but how many people want to hire an ex-convict or somebody that's been involved with drugs? And that's where my mind goes, right?
Yeah.
But lo and behold, I've gotten employment. I've had successions in my life, right?
Yeah, we're the masters of putting ourselves down,
Right.
beating ourselves up.
Yeah.
You know, because we feel that we're the masters of self-sabotage too,
Yeah.
right? So we're like, well, if I get this, I know down the road I'm going to mess it up.
Yeah, so I might as well not even.
Don't even.
Yeah.
You know?
Meanwhile, the more effort you put into something, the more fruitful the reward.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right? Like, who would have thought if I actually just show up and do the best I can, I'm going to benefit?
Yeah, because we never used to do that.
No.
I know in my case, when I was using, I always felt that the world owed me something.
Yeah. All
I felt
about
that,
Ryan.
like, here,
Yeah.
you know, here's a job, here's this, here's that, here's that.
Yeah.
Never put in the work.
Yeah.
Whether it was fear or I just was too damn lazy to. I didn't want to. I want to sit on my ass and do nothing, you know, and then have all this stuff handed to me.
Yeah.
And then when you have to do the work, it's like, oh, okay, I guess if I really want that,
I better go and get it.
I better go and get it, not just sit on my ass and do nothing.
That's it.
So then, yeah, and doing the work, it can be stressful, but it's like you said, the rewards are just amazing. Man.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So when you finally at 27, you said you came in, right? And you have this gap from 14 to 27. When did you have your first child? How old were you then?
I would have to say 32.
Okay, so this is after the first.
This is after this is after 2003. This is before my relapse.
Yeah.
This is before I came in.
Okay.
I had my first. My situation is that I met a woman. It was great because I was in a dry house.
Yeah.
And then 2 of the guys ended up getting a house.
Okay.
And they invited me over.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, she lived right across the street from me.
Okay.
My girlfriend. Didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And I met her on Halloween. She brought the crew, and she had a bad relationship before that.
Okay.
I'm not going to tear the guy down as much as I'd like to, but I'm not going to.
Right.
So she came over, and I saw her, and we clicked.
Right away.
You know,
Isn't it really weird how, like, the spirituality in it?
Oh yeah, she didn't know what to make of us. She saw 3 guys living in a house. She didn't know if one was the father of us 2 or whatever. You know, it was crazy.
It's a recovery home.
So we clicked, and you know, she had Jace, Holly, Sean, and Kai. And Kai is the oldest. He's moved out right now.
Yeah.
He's more like my buddy, if anything.
Yeah.
So just clicked,
Yeah.
you know, and then I became their dad.
Yeah. So she already had children coming
She
into
already
this
had
relationship.
children, and then it got to a point where it's like, you know, we're talking about adopting.
Yeah.
You know.
I think I remember us talking about this a couple years back when I
Yeah.
first came in. Yeah.
Yeah. So it next thing you know, Richie Rue shows up.
It's your newborn?
He was, well, he's 5 now.
Okay.
He's my little guy.
Yeah.
You know, I love all the kids, but he's like my blessing. You know, and he was born on Valentine's Day of all
Oh,
days.
wow. What a gift.
Yeah, she was born on 2019
Yeah.
on Valentine's Day.
It's kind of cool. It's a special connection, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like, I think at times I'm his sidekick. It's like, Dad, we're gonna do this. I'm like, okay, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, he's got all these ideas.
Okay. And then we have our little girl Evie. Like, if I showed you the picture, my lock screen has got them all
Yeah.
on there. And Evie is now 2.
Yeah.
And she was born on July 15th, 2022.
Okay. So
And she's got a little personality.
that's my brother's birthday. That's pretty cool.
So and you know, losing a daughter and then having one. You know,
Yeah.
I always looked at Holly, who's 12, as my little girl, but now I have a little girl.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a blessing. In a
Yeah.
way,
And she's
you know?
got a sister.
She's got a sister. She's got personality. She's gonna be a tough little girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's gonna
Anything
be
like her
tough.
dad, she's going to be right on point then. You know?
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, we hope anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's a blessing. So this topic had changed. Like, you look at that from 27 coming into program, not taking that serious enough for your own life, but then you're blessed with this woman. You want to change your life again. You come back in on program. You keep your shit together, we'll say, and where you're at now doesn't really matter about the circumstances revolving, or, well, I shouldn't say it doesn't matter, but you're dealing with it the right way with the separation. You're not throwing it off to the side and wondering if, let's say, something is going to be, you know, a problem for you by yourself.
Mhm.
Dealing with it with guys like me or your sponsor or other guys in program, and sticking with it, you're going to get through it. At least you have the awareness for that today.
Whatever happens,
Is-
I'm going to be there for them.
Right.
Whatever happens, you know, I'm not going to abandon them. I'm not going to be like, you know what, too much of a burden, goodbye.
Or where before it could have been very well that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I even went out to get anger management.
Yeah.
I never once thought I was an angry dude, but
Right.
you know, you don't get your medicine.
That's it.
Anger sets in and it's hard to get out.
Yeah.
So I did that. And it's just being there, you know, even
Yeah.
days where I don't want to go there and help out,
Yeah.
I go. You know, I went there last night.
Yeah.
It was a last minute thing. Mel wanted to go to a concert with her friend. So
There.
I'm like, okay, I'm there.
Yep.
And I was there till at least about 11:30.
I guess that's what they call being a man, where before I used to think it was being tough, not crying, don't rat on your friends,
Yeah.
you know, the whatever codes of life and none of that's real. None of it's real. Like, sure, it isn't cool to go around telling on people, but like, let's just put it this way: if there's a difference in a man's life or not, right? You're going to save somebody's life by talking about certain things. Then yeah, I agree with it. You know what I mean? I can fully see now that today being a man is the tough guy is now the person that went to work for 30 years and died and gave it all away to his kids, mowed the lawn, rubbed the feet, did the dishes, you know, supported, spent quality time, sacrificed his, you know, life minutes, his time for other people to have a good time, for other people to smile. That's tough.
Yes,
You know what I mean? To me, tough was walking face first into punches and getting away with it.
that's it.
Like, what? Like, that's easy compared
Getting your
to...
face all mangled up and that.
That's just it.
I look at it also being tough as being able to cry,
Yeah.
show weakness,
And be honest.
be honest. You
Yeah.
know, it's funny because being in sobriety, I've never cried so much in my entire life.
Right.
Opposed to like fake tears when you're like worried that, you know, the landlord's going to be knocking on your door
Right.
because you owe rent.
Or something
Or
simple.
Something.
What do they call those? Healthy and unhealthy fears. There's still
Exactly.
going to be fears and anxieties, but some are healthy and some are self-sabotaging your own problems. Like
That's
scared of the eviction notice.
Like the acronyms of fear I like is that there's one that's like F everything and run.
Yeah.
But the one I try to go by is face everything and rise.
Or recover, yeah.
Or recover.
Yeah.
You know, it's before I never knew that there was two different types of fears. I always thought that there was one fear,
Yeah.
being scared.
Well, I was also taught too is that with the fears and the doubts and the self-manifested, implosions, we'll say, or the self-sabotaging actions behind my thinking, I always cause myself my own demise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if there's no struggle that I had to go through everything that I did, everything I chose to learn what I'm learning today, to be able to recover. So the blessing of recovery isn't just saying, well, I'm not using. Well, I'm sober. Okay, but what are you doing to work on yourself?
Yeah.
Right? What are you doing to stay in recovery, involved in recovery? Are you helping other people? I was asked that question a lot. Are you just sitting on the chair and taking up the space? Am I part of the furniture or am I part of the solution? Because I could be a part of the problem too, right? It's either one or the other, right? So, I don't know. I found that recovery isn't possible without the struggle.
That's it.
Tom Butler used to say to me all the time, if you're not having a great day struggling, then you're just having a day.
Like he's told me that too. There's times where I walked in his office where he was my group leader and he'd be like, I'm having a really hard day. You're
having a great day,
and
Ryan.
he's like, you're feeling like crap? And he goes, yeah. He's like, good.
Yeah.
I'll get with the men. And I'm like, with the men, man. And that's why I'm here trying to kill myself. And you're telling me it's good that I'm feeling bad?
This guy, I'm
Like,
telling you,
hell?
I used to curse him leaving his office. Oh, you're struggling, are you? You're having fun. So look at the growth. You go, hey, you're having a great day, Matt. I'm going, you know what, Tom? Oh.
Yeah.
But he's right.
Yes.
Because without all those struggles, I wouldn't have learned how to sit with it, talk about it, get through it, and get past it. So, and these things, like, talk about change. The stuff can resurface. Like an ever-changing being, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, just because I talked about something before doesn't mean that it's not going to reoccur, that my mind won't play tricks on me and have some sort of a doubt or a trigger come up that reminds me of said experience, and then I have to go through it all again.
That's it.
It's it. It's like reoccurring inventory. It's like, man, like that was a hard one for me too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought, like, I could share some of that stuff
Yeah.
that I thought I would take to my grave,
Right.
And I'm glad I was able to. I'm glad, like, this place gave me the courage because I entrusted guys to not judge me.
Right.
That I can spill that garbage out.
Isn't that a good feeling?
And, yeah, it's like it's a huge release.
Yeah.
You're not such a bad person.
Right.
Yeah, you've made bad choices, but that doesn't defy who you are.
Right. You're not the sum of your actions in the past, right?
That's it.
Yeah. You are who you're being today.
And it's like, getting rid of that, now you have more room to fill yourself with love.
Right.
You've gotten rid of all that. You're not judged. Yeah. You're not going to be chased after by a lynch mob with pitchforks. And it's like
you're not judged here.
Yeah, and that's what changed me. It was like to be able to dump all that crap and not be looked down upon and be like, hey, you know what? You're not the only one.
Yeah.
You're not a bad person.
And it gives us acceptance too to say the same about somebody else that doesn't understand it yet.
Mm-hmm.
As they're coming into program or out in the streets, it's like, man, if you only knew I don't judge you because nobody judged me. Mm-hmm. I was accepted, so can you. Like, you can be there too.
There's so many times when guys come in, I'm walking the halls and I'll go into the intake and I'll be like, hey man, how's it going?
Right.
Welcome.
Yep.
What was your poison? Let them know that they're safe, that they're making a good change, that they don't have to be nervous and afraid.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's all good.
Yeah,
You're accepted.
You're getting ready to change your life, man. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Accept it.
I know.
Fuck that stuff.
I was so nervous coming here that when I got here, I left my bags in intake because no one had told me that I got to bring them and do the dryer thing. My shadow was a little bit, he's a younger guy and he didn't really explain all the rules to me. So my bags were there until about 9:30, 10 at night.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember.
I'm like, and then also, like, I didn't know that I wasn't going to be drug tested right away, so I'm like holding my PA, like, wait. They're like, yeah, staff went home at 3:30 p.m. What? Like, my bags have been here all day, like, you know what I mean? I didn't even make my bed yet. It's almost bedtime. Like, brutal. But that's where I realized that it's an honesty program. It's based on trust, it's based on faith, and how bad do you want it? And I didn't know it then, but like getting that realization somewhere down the line was like, wow, like it really is up to me to be as honest in my life as I can be. It's this guy's choice, not anybody else's. But I can be there for somebody else to help make that choice or help them make a better judgment call in their life, right?
Yeah, it's just like when
It's crazy.
myself
Yeah.
and you, when you come in, you get guys helping you out.
That's right.
Kind of guiding you through it.
Yeah.
And then as you get into, like, further into recovery,
Senior weeks. Yeah.
you do the same thing.
It's like they teach you service without even knowing that you're being taught it.
That's it.
I like this program because it follows through with all of, I guess like almost like AA or NA does with like inventories and the steps and stuff, but you don't even realize you're doing them. Like there's no book work in it. It's spirituality and it's communication, it's fellowship, and then somewhere down the line you get held accountable for certain actions, whether you get caught or you admit it prior to it, or something had to have happened for you to be put in either one of those positions.
Yes.
Right? So it's like, okay, I get it. My actions are always going to follow me,
Yeah.
no matter what. So I better just try and do the best doing, take the trying out of my vocabulary. I'm doing everything I can in my knowledge and power today to be a better man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if I just do that, then I'm already, 2 feet in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes you feel good.
It does. And it's, when I first came here, like the second time,
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was just like the substance problem. I never once thought that it was my head and how I was wired. It'd be like, and then I find out that it's only 5% of the problem.
Yeah, 95 is your personal
And
character
95
defects.
means it's like there's something not wired correctly up there.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
And the only medicine for it is another human being that struggles. No kidding.
I used to hate talking to people.
I know.
I hated talking to people.
Right.
I didn't like. I thought people were so annoying. Why the hell would I want
But
to?
again, there's that little Brian voice.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, man, the more I think I'm thinking, you wake up at 7 in the morning going, I'm not going to like people at 3 p.m. and I'm going to just hate the fact that, no, somewhere along the line, that temptational thought come into your head told you that this isn't good or da-da-da-da-da-da, and we have to agree with that whisper. It's like, well, that couldn't have been my thought then. You know what a thought is I'm going to get up tomorrow morning, I'm going to make my bed. And then I get up and I think about it, I grab the sheets and I make the bed. That's my own thought. Yeah. Somewhere in that time of making my bed, I get an impulsive thought in my head going, I'd really like to get laid, or I don't really want to be here, or I'd like to go use, or I really miss my kids and I should go home because of them, or whatever. So 1,000 thoughts can come in a minute action, but those aren't really my thoughts. Those are little good and bad wars waging in my alcoholic thinking.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is. It's insane.
But insanity would be to act on it. And that's where a fine line comes in these thousands of rainbow effect of colors and feelings that I have to deal with a black and white choice. Yes or no. Either one could be good or bad, depending on the circumstance. But all of these feelings are going to be there regardless whether I use or not. And that was a difficult one for me still today, going through different emotions and different settings, realizing that that's what I am. I am my feelings alternate and changing. I'm not Matt. That's just a name given to me by some other guy and some other woman. Yeah. You know what I mean? My parents. So that's not who I define myself as. It's like, really, I got to question how I feel throughout my day, get with the men, talk with people about my emotions and my mental state, and somehow it just gets better.
That's where commitments come in.
Yeah, start right fresh in the morning. I'm glad you brought that up, because commitments, what do they mean to you?
Commitments?
Yeah.
Commitments is kind of like goals that you want to set
for
yourself that day. I tried to live it like before. I used to think way far ahead.
Right.
And I had it where it's like I ended up not being grateful for what I have.
Yeah.
And then I worried about the things I didn't have.
Right.
But doing commitments, and I admit there's times where I slack off on it.
Well, we're only human.
We are only human. I feel that those are goals that you set for yourself. And if you can complete those goals
daily,
then you're working your program.
Right. It's like something I struggled with yesterday, I can make for a goal today. And if I can make it an easy enough task, but something that's definitely doable in the day, I feel like I've accomplished something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it makes you honestly feel better. If I don't clean my room and I make a commitment to clean the room and I actually do it, well, guess what? I'm probably going to appreciate cleaning that room and want it to stay clean. Yeah. More than often than not, you kind of evolve from those commitments, unless they're emotional commitments or mental struggled commitments, right? Those things can be a daily task for some people, but you're absolutely right. It's an attainable goal that will make me feel better about myself. So sending out a text to, 10, 15, 20, 30 guys, whatever it is, people have a handful. I have probably close to 60 because I'm just nuts like that. I have to divulge myself. I have to dive right into it. And if I don't activate my brain with at least, that hour in the morning, then I know I have to do this, or people are going to wonder where I am, or people are going to wonder what's going on with me. I make myself feel important that way, which is a positive way of being selfish. So I accomplish that task for my emotional state, that people do depend on that, and then I move forward with the actual commitment, right? So today's to be kind to others and have patience. Well, that's an emotional and mental goal, right? Because I have to really do some self-awareness and looking in the mirror for that, right? And then the patience part of it, how are you going to have patience if I'm not kind? Because if I'm being ignorant, the patience goes out the window, right?
That's it. That's it. Like my commitment today is to be grateful for the people and the things I have in life. And to do that is to do acts of kindness.
See?
And this is one of those. If I could get a positive message out.
Yeah. Okay, so let's
great.
We are coming near
I also like to hang out with you, so that's a bonus.
That's it, right? But we're nearing the end. So if you had a message and something that you'd say to anybody out there struggling, whether it's family members with people that are in active addiction or somebody that's in active addiction, if there's something that you'd had to say to them, just any message, regarding your recovery or anything that stands out, maybe something you were taught, something you learned, something that, dings a bell or turns a light on, what would you say to them people out there?
What would I say?
Yeah.
I would say this: problems arise, but they're only here for now, not forever.
Hey.
You're going to come to a kind of like a fork in the road.
Right.
You have the choice to either go down this road where you have a couple of hours to get messed up and being happy, or you can go down this road and have a lifetime of happiness.
Yeah. I like that. I really do appreciate you saying that, because I ask that question at the end of every episode to just maybe catch somebody off guard, but it's like you had that rehearsed. But here's the thing: I do this with you and other people that have come on free. There's no script. There's no questions that are coming your way or anything like that. It's just a blessing to be able to have these one-on-ones with these guys, because I'm starting to get the female program involved now too. I've had one female episode already on Hours of Clarity, and just knowing that people care to share their stories. I need you to have this. You know what I mean? I need other people to have anything in life. So if I didn't have the suffering that I went through to finding where I am today and learning to accept other people in my life, I would never have anything. If you want to be a car salesman, you got to have people to sell the cars to, right? If you're working in a hospital, you got to have sick people in order to tend to the patients. So it doesn't matter what profession or whatever it is you do. You cook for people. No kidding. So if no one was eating food, would you cook? Maybe for yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? So I really get it where it says on the sign, people need people on Brentwood's Recovery Center. It's like, I really, really, really look at this as a blessing in disguise, because there's not a single day that I wouldn't go through these black and white choices and learn about my rainbow effect of feelings. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's been a blessing having you on, Brian. I appreciate you. We're going to end that here, and thank you very much. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, share if you must. I'd appreciate it. And all proceeds from this episode will be going to Brentwood Recovery Home, donated to outreach centers in the community. But this episode's main focus will be donated. If anybody donates via PayPal link below, will go to Brentwood Recovery Home in Windsor, Ontario. Thank you very much, and have a blessed day.